Bruce Leroy back in action, man. But this is a dangerous matchup against Sting, SEUNGWOO CHOI, man. Listen, AJ. Minus 300 favorite is SEUNGWOO CHOI with a plus 240 comeback for Caceres. I don't know if I agree with that, AJ. And the reason why is because I think the odds makers looked at Choi's last fight against Julian Erosa and says, oh, this man's a killer. He's dangerous. He's very, very dangerous. I do agree with that. However, Alex Caceres is very similar to a man that Choi just fought in Yosef Zalal, right? Lots of movement, man. Snapping jab, trying to incorporate a little wrestling and grappling from time to time. But the biggest part is that Erosa was a sitting target. Zalal was a very active moving target. And what's the difference? Erosa, knockout round 1. Zalal, unanimous decision. So I think fighting Caceres is going to be a tougher challenge than it's led to believe right now. And for that reason, just off of the bat, I see absolute value in this plus 240 for Alex Caceres. However, AJ, let's just talk about the matchup in its totality, man. Why is it that Bruce Leroy, man, Alex Caceres, I feel like we've been sleep on him. He's finally now getting some recognition. The man is 13-10 with 1 no contest in the UFC, AJ. The man has 24 UFC fights, and he is only 33 years old. Is that not ridiculous?
Bro, that's insane, man. He's putting that work in, and what's even crazier, like you said, Derek, everybody's been sleeping on him. I love Alex Caceres, especially his style, very sneaky. He has that nice karate movement, but he's able to mix it up and down. This dude's legit, but yeah, he's been sleeping on. It's crazy to see.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about just like height differences, right? Because Choi is very tall for that featherweight division, right? 5'11 is Choi, 5'9 is Caceres, 73-inch reach, for Caceres, 74-inch reach for Choi. So he doesn't have that big size advantage he normally has on these fighters, man. But it didn't matter against Erosa, right? Because Erosa was big and tall too, and he still just pieced him up, destroyed the man. The thing about it here, AJ, is the straight punches of Choi, man. The speed, the crispiness. They literally call him Sting for a reason because those shots are stinging shots. But Caceres is a southpaw. He can mix it up a little bit. Touch and go counter striker, which I think is going to make this very difficult for Choi to sit down on those shots the way he is accustomed to because he utilizes so much of that lateral movement and he has the experience, AJ. We cannot discount that. So for that reason, man, who do you give a striking edge in this matchup? It's so hard. I feel like it's almost like a coin toss. What do you think about it?
Yeah, this one's a coin toss on that question. Oh, yeah, kind of in the whole fight, to be honest with you, this one's a coin toss. Those odds are crazy. I see absolute value in that 240, man. Throw some cash on there if you're looking to bet, folks, because Alex Caceres can very much get it done. But if I had to give an advantage in the striking, I'd probably say Caceres, honestly, just for the technique wise. He has a little bit more kicks. Don't get me wrong, Sting has these amazing down the pipe power. He can drop you. We saw in that Julian Erosa fight, this dude can absolutely crack. And I like it. I like him a lot in this fight because he's smooth, man. Very fast, no wasted effort, and he has a height and reach advantage, which normally Caceres is used to having. And I mean, not by much. You labeled the stats. Not by much, not by as much as he did. But man, what I like about Sting, he's able to bite down in the mouthpiece to get the KO. Whereas Alex Caceres, he's not there to be able to do that. He has that lateral movement. You want to hit him, he's not going to be there taking pictures. He's going to be in and out, smacking you with kicks, hitting you up top, and he's able to take it to the ground. And I like his fact that he's able to keep the hips stable and win the fight on the ground. I don't know necessarily about Choi, but I'd give the advantage. At least maybe it's because I'm biased because of the karate background, but that's why I'd give it to Alex Caceres on that one. What do you think? Who are you giving the advantage to?
Well, listen, it's interesting because I do like Choi's boxing a little bit better than Caceres' boxing, but I like Caceres' overall striking acumen better than Choi's. Just because, like I said, it's something. Yusuf Zalal, man, yes. Has he had a lot of success in the UFC? No, he hasn't, right? But I like the striking style because it's so movement-oriented. It's touch, go. Oh, I'm not here on the center line, whatever. Caceres does that same thing where he just mixes up the looks and he freezes his opponents with all of those different looks that he's giving them, right? So when we're talking about striking defense, it's 65% for Caceres, 45% for Choi. So that just goes to show you who's getting hit more in these exchanges, right? If you're not there to get hit, it's hard to get hit in the first place. And Alex Caceres has had a lot of time to figure out how to get those dubs. Let's look at notable wins, AJ. For Caceres, Sergio Pettis, Bellator bantamweight champion. He submitted him in the 3rd round when he was in the UFC. Steven Peterson, UD win. Steven Peterson is a tough cat right there. Kevin Kroom, UD win. Kevin Kroom is another tough son of a gun who's going to walk forward through the flames, all that. For Choi, really, it's just Yusuf Zalal and Julian Erosa. And I'm not saying those names lightly because those are very impressive names to have on your resume, but he's only 10-3. He doesn't nearly have the same experience Caceres has. And when we're talking about age, too, man, he's just a little bit younger, about 5 years younger, right? And Caceres, what has he been saying, AJ? He's been saying, yo, I want to fight ranked fighters. I think it's time for me to take the step up in competition. If he gets this dub right here, I think he absolutely can take that step forward in the division. Now, let me ask you, AJ, because you say that normally you don't look at odds until we come here on the show. So then you could break it down that way. I'm the other way because I like looking at the odds immediately just to get a feel on what the odds makers are thinking. You know what I mean? It's like, well, how are y'all feeling, man? How do y'all see this fight playing out? Did you think that the odds would be this skewed coming into this fight? Like, were you actually legitimately surprised to be like, oh, what the hell? Like minus 300 for Choi? That's kind of crazy. That's a heavy favorite.
I don't know if I made a face, but I know mentally I was like, wow, really 300. I do agree that Choi should be the favorite, but I thought it'd be, around 150, 200, maybe not nothing like that. Like that's a crazy underdog for Alex Caceres coming back.
I agree, man. I agree. And when it comes down to takedowns, we're looking at a 64% takedown defense for Caceres and 66% for Choi. So both of them got pretty decent takedown defense. Do you see this fight hitting the ground?
I think that's Alex Caceres' best way to get it done. I do. Maybe with the slick striking, he's able to hit a counter shot, but Sting, man, he's willing to bite down on the mouthpiece, and he has the chin to do it, and he has the power to hit you with a counter strike and get it done. So if Caceres wants to get this done very easily, maybe not easily, but a little bit more smooth and standing and trading, I think he's going to have to take it to the ground. What do you think?
I think it could be an interesting approach. The man does have 6 submission wins under his belt, so it could be an aspect of his game that he tries to surprise Choi with a little bit, man. I will say Choi has been knocked out once, submitted once, and lost 1 decision. So the opportunity, if it's there, I think Caceres might look to take it. But then again, we've seen he's very comfortable just on the feet trying to outpoint you. You know what I mean? I think this could be a very close fight, and it can end up in like a 29-28 type situation for either one of the winners right here. So when we're talking about the over-under, so let's just knock this out and then give our picks on this. The over-under for Caceres versus Choi is 2.5 rounds, minus 220 for the over and plus 180 for the under. So it doesn't look like the odds makers are seeing a knockout coming in the early rounds over on this one. It could very well just go to that outpointing style, man. And for that reason, I'm gonna rock with Choi here, AJ, man. I think he's done enough for me to earn the respect and for him to just be able to sit down on those shots, man, and have maybe the more impactful shots. Maybe Caceres even outstrikes him, but Choi might just have the more impactful shots. He will probably be pressuring Caceres. Caceres will be circling around the ring, and the optics of the judges, I think, will lend to a 29-28 for Seungwoo, Sting, Choi. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, that's how I have it going too, Derek. I think Caceres is going to be the busier fighter. Choi's going to be able to hit harder. And don't be surprised if Caceres shoots first. Like I said, he has that ground acumen that he can get it done. But me personally, although I see value in that 240 underdog, I'm rocking with Choi, and I'm actually going KO round 3. I think it's going to be very much back and forth, and it's going to be a late round 3. I think the over for that 2.5 rounds is a good call. I think it's going to be a late fight. We got a scrap on our hands, and if there is a KO, I think it's going to be late in the rounds, and it's going to be Choi getting it done.
Okay, and it's interesting. I always say you're a bold man, because Caceres, he has been knocked out once in his career. In his, 30-fight MMA career, only been knocked out once. So Choi better have some sting on those shots if he's going to really get him out of there. But listen, the last time that Caceres was finished was against Kron Gracie 5 fights ago. It was a first-round submission. And if you know anything about Kron Gracie, he's one of the slickest grapplers in the game right now. So